Damn. I just walked in here literally 10 seconds ago. I got a speech, man. I've never written a speech in my life, and yesterday I said, I should write a speech. I said, dear God, I just want to say thank you. Nothing is possible without you. Your love and will preserves me through it all. I want to also thank my mother, who as of today has retired from her job after 30 years. Working in the medical field as a registered nurse in a psych ward. She worked 3 to 4 jobs just to provide for me and my four siblings as an immigrant in this country. Immigrants built this country, literally. So this is for them, for all children of immigrants. This is also for those who came to this country in search of better opportunity to be a part of a nation that promised freedom for all and equal opportunity to everyone willing to work for it.
So you guys just seen a video of somebody I had never heard of until the Grammys just happened. By the way, that was the worst Grammys I've ever seen in my entire life. It was completely agenda-driven and just liberal agenda-driven, just this whole just bullshit entirely, if you ask me. And his main response to this entire thing that I'm responding to is that immigrants built the United States, which, if you have a very surface level understanding of history, and again, like I always say, learning history is very important, because when people come across and they say dumb shit like this, you can respond with a factual educated response. So I'm gonna tell you guys exactly why immigrants did not build the United States the way how he's making it seem. Now, the way he's making it seem is like, if immigrants had not immigrated into the United States, by the way, the mass immigration happened to the Americas, not during the 1700s, whenever not during the 1600s, I'm sorry, whenever the English came, and not to mention the French and the Portuguese and the Spanish were in the Americas, including South America as well. But in the 1800s, you had a influx of European migrants from Ireland, from Italy, Sicily, all those places. They all, even places like Turkey, they all moved to the United States in the 1800s during the Industrial Revolution. Now, keep in mind, during the Industrial Revolution, the United States had been its own country for nearly 100 years. So immigrants did not help the United States sign the Constitution. They did not, there were no immigrants, especially not from Nigeria, where he's from, where his family is from. There were no immigrants from Nigeria that fought in the Civil War. There were no immigrants that fought the Independence War, and there damn sure were not any immigrants out there marching with Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. They did not produce any civil rights movements in the United States. Matter of fact, because of the Black Americans that were at the forefront. Of course, there were Asian Americans, there were Mexicans, there were, or let's say Latinos that were out there participating in the civil rights, but we were at the forefront. That's why we're at the history books, that's why they have statues of us. That's why there's Martin Luther King Day. Okay, now I'm not going to discredit the Mexicans that did their thing because they weren't on our side, but anyway, we were at the forefront. Okay, because of what we did as Black Americans just 60 years ago, like not even a full, 1968, not even a full 60 years ago. So this is very recent. A lot of those people are still alive today. Because of what we did, immigrants have been allowed to have free speech, free voting rights. They have not been discriminated by those same zoning laws that we experienced back in those days, because we, as the Black Americans that were already there, paved the way for immigrants to come and shit on us. For example, look at the Somalians that come to the United States. Okay, I grew up in Arlington, Texas. There's Kenyans there, Nigerians, of course, they're everywhere, and there's Somalians in Arlington, Texas. I remember seeing Somalians in the mall that you could not speak to them. Okay, if you said hello to them, they would walk right past you like you didn't say shit. So that is basically ignorance, because they don't understand that because of us, we have given them the privilege to be able to even come to the United States and thrive. And because they're so damn ignorant, they don't even understand that. And they tell themselves amongst their own circles, don't associate with black Americans. They don't know their fathers. They don't know anybody in their family. They're violent. They're lazy. When really, these people the whole time, not all of them, but a good amount of them that are calling us lazy, have been stealing from taxpayers and sending it back on people that are in Somalia in poverty. Keep that in mind. And we're the fucking lazy ones that we were the ones that literally paved the way for you guys to be able to come over here and talk shit. Not to mention, as I said before, immigrants did help the United States. It would be absolutely foolish for me to say that they serve no purpose in U.S. history, because they did do basically slave labor after slavery was abolished. Whenever the Irish came to the United States, they were able to work and miss hands from working in textile factories and basically work for wages that they couldn't even feed themselves with. We were also included in that, but I'm not going to discredit them and say that they didn't go through that. Now, modern day Hondurans, Mexicans, the Latino immigrants are being exploited for things like construction work and stuff like that because they don't have their legal papers. So they do contribute somewhat to society for sure. Now, that is not to say, but again, that infrastructure had already been there whenever they got there. They did not build the fucking United States. They did not build the White House. The only immigrants that built it were slaves that had already been brought over from Africa. Some of them were already here because some of them were Native Americans. Native Americans were enslaved too, and they also enslaved whites. And it was we'll have to do a whole video about the entire slavery system in the United States. But anyway, we built the White House. You guys did not pick any cotton that built the economy. If we want to talk about what built the United States, what built Brazil, all of these American countries are built from slavery. Okay, those were not immigrants, those were slaves. Okay, from my understanding, his mother was a Nigerian immigrant. She was not on a plantation field that fueled the Brazilian or the American economy. In the Americas, it is not immigrants that help do anything. It is the slaves that were built there. You don't believe me? Oh, slavery didn't build America. It didn't build Brazil. Okay, well, guess what? If you were to remove slavery from Brazilian or American history or a Panamanian history, what the hell would those countries look like today? Probably shitholes like the countries that these people are immigrating from. Now, next, if these people built our country as if they're our savior, we couldn't have done it without them, why the hell are their countries not developed as ours? Right? I know I talk about how Africa is developed as a whole, right? I mean, there's only a few countries that exist that don't have fast internet, that don't have the modern infrastructure that the rest of the world has. But if we want to be honest, I mean, how much further behind is Kenya from the United States when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to human rights? It's close, but it's not the same. So if these immigrants came and built our country, why the hell are their countries not built up in the first place? So let's talk about that. Next, let's talk about how much easier it is for an African, affordability it is for them to come to our country, open up a business, especially if they're a refugee from Somalia or Sudan, right? They can be approved for loans that I personally, as an American, cannot even get. My entire bloodline was born in America, and I am not eligible for credit. And it's not that I don't know how to make money. It's because the system is completely different for them versus immigrants. If a Somalian comes as a refugee, they can get $50,000 loans, right? No credit history needed. I have owned 2 barbershops in 2 parts of the state of Texas. I filed my taxes. Okay, I've been very successful before the age of 21. And I could not get approved for a fucking credit card. And this is the delusional viewpoint that these immigrants have, where they want to come and shit on us and they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. Now, if as an American, if you wanted to come stay, let's just use where I'm at right now as an example. If you wanted to come stay in Namibia, you would have to spend $50,000 for a work permit to come stay for a 2-year period. Okay, it's not like Paraguay or Brazil where you can spend $1,500 and stay there for 2 years. If you want to migrate to African countries as an American, it's going to be more expensive for you just for the immigration process. That's not mentioning the scams and all the other underhanded stuff that could happen. Not always, but it could happen when you get here. You're going to have to invest fucking $50,000 into a business to stay here on a 2-year period. If you want to get a work visa in Kenya, it's going to cost you around $10,000 for a 2-year period. So it depends on what African country you go to. But most African countries, it is far more expensive for us to go there, start a business, and actually stay there than it is for you guys, Africans and other immigrants, to get a 2-year visa. If they want to get a 2-year visa to go to the United States on a tourist visa, which they had to renew twice, it's only going to cost them around $3,000. Okay, so they have a far easier time, and yes, I do know that there is more screening that they go through, but my point is they have a far easier time coming to our country and shitting on us, and they don't know what they're talking about. Again, this is why it's important for you to study history and to actually do your research before you make dumbass blanket statements like, immigrants built the United States. No, the fuck you didn't. You assisted in what was already there. And here's another thing I want to say about even, what's his name? Troy Never, whatever his name is. Whatever his name is. The guy from South Africa. Now, I've been to 11 countries in Africa. I've been to 30 countries around the world. I can guarantee you what he did at the Grammys, which was go and make jokes about politicians and presidents and current affairs that we have going on in the country. And dumbass Americans are just sitting back laughing. He's a great comedian, right? Now, if I went to Kenya, if I went to South Africa, and I made a joke about the president of South Africa, if I made a joke about the president of Kenya, if I made a joke about the president of Namibia, don't you think I'd have my dumb ass back in the United States due to deportation? They're not going to allow, so they can come to our country and shit on us and tell us what we have and have not done, call us lazy, do all this other dumb shit. But if we go to theirs and even think about doing the same thing, you probably wind up dead. You probably wind up dead. Honestly. So let me know what you guys thought about that. I'm tired of immigrants coming to the United States, calling, especially in specific, Black Americans lazy. Like, I mean, I don't get it. Okay. I'm done. I just had to get that off my chest. Let me know what you guys thought. Leave a like. Make sure you subscribe. That was the worst Grammys I've ever seen. It was completely agenda based, and it was just stupid. You know, there's no illegals on stolen land. Just scripts that they had to read. I wonder, do they actually believe that shit? Maybe it's my turn to sell out, because they must be getting paid a lot to talk crazy like that. So anyway, I love you guys. I'll see you guys next time.